Hi, I'm William Byrne. 31 years ago, I wrote, illustrated, and self-published a 24-page black and white comic book called Max Burger P.I. Max Burger P.I. is about a mutant hamburger private investigator, born from a microwave explosion 17 years ago, who solves crimes and battles his brother the Mad Burger, part cyborg, part hamburger, and who lives in the sewers and plots to take over the world and reshape it to his dark vision. Now I'm planning to re-release Max Burger P.I. number 1 in a longer 48-page story with all new art. I hope you will back my Indiegogo campaign. Thank you. Hey, welcome everyone. I've got a special guest today. I got Graham Nolan here. So I'm going to bring him in and we're going to chat with him. Hey, Graham.
Hello, William.
Hey, nice to see you.
Good to see you in the Great White North up there.
Yes. Well, it's not white yet.
Not give it a week. Give it a week.
Oh yeah. Well, we get we're fairly close to Buffalo, so we get kind of almost the same kind of stuff, you know. Well, Toronto gets a little bit more because they're near the lake, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Buffalo's near the lake too, isn't it?
It's on the lake, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's where you got your story.
Chinook.
Chinook, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was driving along the 190, which is right along Lake Erie there, and I saw this storm coming in, and it was really dark and cold, and I thought, wow, that's a really cool setting for a horror story.
Nice. And your I was going to say Kickstarter, sorry, Indiegogo, it did pretty well.
Did very well. Very well. It's right now up to 76,000 something, almost 77,000.
Wow. I got a book coming. So I went
great.
So I went and ordered last week. I didn't realize it ended, but you still had it in demand?
Yeah. That's one of the advantages of Indiegogo is that once the campaign ends, you can put it up in demand indefinitely, really, as long as it's taking in perks per month. Once that stops, then they'll close it, or you can close it yourself at any point.
Right. Good. No, when you got that idea for that story, that was from news papers and stuff that you read, or stuff in the news when you came up with a.
Well, the blizzard of '77, I remember. I was living in Florida then, and I still remember it. It was such a big storm; it was all over the country. And then having lived here now for, I don't know, 30 years, something like that, you know, you hear the stories from people that lived it and all. My wife was just a kid when it happened. And so, you know, I use that as a backdrop to bring it forward into the present. You know, that storm is as a harbinger of a creature.
Right. But I don't think I recall that. We're about similar in age. You and I.
Okay.
I was just doing some facts on you this morning. So you're a few months younger, older than I am, because October 1st is my 58th birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've turned 58 in March.
Yeah. I usually don't like saying that anymore.
It's just a number.
Yeah, I know.
Still above the sod. That's all I care about.
Yep. And we're still breathing and stuff like that. So I noticed you went through the Kubert School. Yep. So you started that way?
Early on in the school's history, I started in '82. Mm-hmm. Wait, or is it '81? I graduated in 80, 81. Yeah, I think it was '81, actually. Might have been. I can't remember now. It's so long ago.
Yeah, you probably know my friend Claudio. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. He's from Europe, but he lives in Canada now.
Okay.
Let me find him here. Just give me a moment here.
Okay.
I'll spell you his name because It's Ghirardo.
Not by no, doesn't ring a bell. But what year was he there?
I'm not quite sure what he said. I talked to him about 3 or 4 months ago, but he said he went there and studied. I forget who else was there. Let me send you. I'll send you his profile here. I'll send it through Facebook here.
All right.
Or his name. I can't. Oh, here we go. So I'm using Chrome, and I'm not used to Chrome. I'm used to Firefox.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I use Safari, but I'm using Chrome for this because it doesn't support Safari.
So you're on a Mac, are you?
Yeah.
Okay, I just sent it to you on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was mentioning he went to the Coopert School, so I thought that was maybe you might have ran into him.
A lot of people went there. I mean, it's been open since 78, 79, something like that. And so many people in the business have gone there or graduated from there.
Yeah, I knew a guy from Newfoundland who went to. I guess he traveled from Newfoundland to New York. I guess that's where it is in New York, isn't it, or New Jersey?
Jersey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
New Jersey.
So he traveled all the way from Newfoundland, all the way to go down there for the school. I think he published a couple of books, but he's running a comic book store now there. So
okay.
Yeah. So what got you into comic books?
I got in through a teacher in 6th grade who brought in a stack of comics for all the kids to read during recess. And there was a Justice League comic in the stack that really kind of lit me up. And there were characters that I knew from like television shows like Superman and Batman and Aquaman. And so that was really the beginning. I was a monster kid before I was into comics. So there was a peripheral aspect of comics because all the monster magazines, particularly the ones I read, had like an article in every issue about what was happening at comics at that time. And so a lot of the first comics that I bought usually had some type of monster theme to it. If it was a superhero, it was like, the Hulk or the Fantastic Four with the Thing, sort of a monster. Or it was Spider-Man fighting Morbius or the Werewolf by Night or something like that, So, so I've always loved monsters and monster movies,
So you're probably big into the Vampirella comics then too?
Yeah, they were a little more adult for me at that age. I was just, a kid, and I didn't have really access to a lot of those Warren magazines at that time. But, around 1981 or 82, I discovered them, and I was like, wow, this is great stuff. Pepe Gonzalez's artwork is amazing. Jose Ortiz, great stuff.
Yeah, I used to, when I was back in the 70s, I remember looking at Vampirella, but I couldn't really get into it. I wasn't much of a horror comic, like that kind of into that gender. I liked superheroes. So, looking at the black and white ones, I'm going like, oh, there's no color,
Mm-hmm.
We got some questions here. We got Dell here asking, what motivates you now to continue to write comics?
Just the need to tell stories. I love storytelling. I'm not motivated to do like superhero comics, but I'm motivated just to tell great stories. And comic books is the language I like to tell them in. It's that combination of words and pictures. That's a great marriage, and it's a great art form. So I find that the most exciting thing about it is just getting an idea out.
Right. And Dell also asks here, who's your favorite character?
I have no idea. I got a lot of characters that I like.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pick, isn't it?
Yeah.
You might be able to pick maybe a top 10 or something, right? Yeah.
Yeah, probably. It depends on what medium too. Pulp characters, superhero characters,
Yeah.
horror characters, my own characters. Who
Yeah.
can say?
What was it? What was your first book you drew?
New Talent Showcase for DC Comics. My teacher, Sal Amendola, at the Kubert School, was also the talent coordinator at DC Comics. So he bought two of my assignments for his magazine. So that was my first professional sale.
Nice. And what is your process for like drawing? Do you have a ritual that you do? You sit at in a chair and stare at a wall or anything before you start to do layouts or anything, or you just go straight to the board and start drawing?
Well, I work digitally now, so I have layout templates that I use, and I look at my script. If it's a script somebody else has written, I read it, of course, and then I break it down into panels and designs. If I'm working on my own script, a lot of times, I'm visualizing it as I go along. So I might just do sketches and put little notations to myself of what I want them to say or what the mood was that was going forward, so that I can keep the narrative good and the dialogue snappy and crisp. So
Right.
It's a lot different when I work for myself, because since I can do both, I can integrate the two different jobs, as it were, differently, and I could keep it a lot looser and a lot more organic that way, by just constantly refining, writing things down, coming back and changing them, up until the point where I get the script ready for the letterer, and then I've got all my dialogue, and obviously it's already been written or drawn by that point.
Okay. Because usually my process, like I've been doing some writing for some other people lately, but when I do my own stuff, because you've seen my Max Burger stuff come up in that video, and I never write a script. I usually get I've got a hardcover sketchbook, and I'll just do the layouts, and I'll plan the pages out and go, okay, page 1, and then we'll lead it so we can get it to page 2 and 3 and follow the line and stuff like that. And then I back in '89, I lettered my own stuff. So once I put the pencils down, then I started adding the lettering and stuff like that. So that's the way I used to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll write a plot out just so I know what my structure is going to be. And then I'll break that plot down into pages, so that I know where I'm going and what has to be on each page, so that I know, if I know what my page count is going to be, like I got to fit it in 48 pages, I've got to make sure I know where I'm going, so that everything isn't crammed at the end, or I've forgotten something that's important through there. So I'll work with a scripted plot that I've written out for myself, and then break it down visually from there.
Right. Now, when you're working with somebody else, what would you prefer, full script or Marvel plot?
Well, I prefer full script, because otherwise I'm doing half the work without getting paid for it.
Yeah. So you see the lettering in that, the words and stuff. It probably helps you a little bit better with the storyline, right?
Well, it helps with the expressions of the characters. And also, I subscribe to the Will Eisner theory that once the script leaves the hands of the writer, the story is the artist's. So if he's got 6 panels on a page and I think it needs 4, I'm doing 4 panels. If it's 4 panels and I think it needs 6, like I want to do a triptych imagery or something like that, I'll put that in, because it's now my story to tell, and my job is to tell it the most excitingly as possible, that it can be done. Basically, like Chuck Dixon used to say, "Make me look like a genius."
Good. Now, Dell's got some questions here. He says, if you were given an opportunity, would you write for one of the mainstream characters or even make a movie about them?
Well, I have no control over making movies, and it's not likely any of the mainstream publishers are going to contact me to work for them. So the answer is no.
Okay. And he's got another one here. He says, Batman is my favorite character. Do you like any of those Batmans that have come out? If you do, who's your favorite?
The movies?
I'm
Batman
not
movies?
sure. That doesn't say. Well, I guess there's
He probably means the movies.
maybe the movies. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I haven't liked any of them.
You know, you didn't like the Kristen Bell ones. I thought they were well done. Kristen Bell as Batman.
Christian Bale? Oh, no, I didn't like him as Batman at all.
No.
No.
His voice, like, swear to me.
It was like a really bad Clint Eastwood impression. That costume that he had, that mask, the helmet, so to speak, was terrible. It didn't look like a cowl. It looked like a helmet on his head.
Yeah.
And then, they treated it like a James Bond film.
Yeah.
If you substitute Lucius Fox for Q and Batman for James Bond, it's the same plot. World domination, everything's solved with technology.
Yeah.
Never seen him as the greatest detective.
Yeah, I didn't see him solve too many stuff.
No.
I did like the look of it. I like the way they did the Kristen Bell. Like that first scene when he meets those thugs as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that scene. I thought that was really well shot. The Keaton ones I didn't like too much. What did you think of them?
I like the first Keaton one. I didn't like it when it came out, but now that I've seen other versions of Batman, I go back to the Keaton one as my favorite.
It's more closer to the Frank Miller stuff, isn't it, that one?
No, I wouldn't say Frank Miller.
Well, it was inspired by Frank Miller a bit, wasn't it? Because it was a little bit more darker at that time, because we had the Adam West Batman before that.
Right, but the comics were already, darker than the Adam West stuff. I mean, ever since Denny O'Neil took it over back in the late 60s,
Yeah. And Dell asked another question here. Have you ever written and drawn a book cover to cover? If so, which was your first?
Monster Island.
Is that a crowdfunding one, or?
It was self-published under my company, Compass Comics,
Okay.
back in 1998. And I just did a crowdfunding for the sequel to it, Return to Monster Island, which is right here.
Right there. Oh, nice. It's hardcover too, is it?
Yeah.
Nice. Can it still be ordered?
You can.
Yeah.
It's on Indiegogo,
Okay.
in demand,
All
so
right.
it can still be ordered.
Okay. I'll take a look for it later on.
As well as the original. The original has been reprinted in hardcover, the same format, so that the two will, sit on the shelf together.
Nice. Now, Dell's got another question for us.
What do we got? One person in the audience here?
Yeah, we got 6 people watching, 7 people now watching. So who's your favorite Batman voice actor for any animated show or movie?
Well, what's his name? Kevin Conroy. Conroy?
Yeah.
I think he's probably the best.
Yeah, Batman the animated series. Yeah, I don't think there's there's been a couple other, hasn't there? For doing the voice of Batman for the animated.
Yeah. Afterwards, there were other guys, and
Yeah.
of course the Super Friends.
Yeah, they had somebody different for that. Yeah, and the Adventures of Batman, wasn't it? There was an animated series back in the 70s.
Filmation. Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember that one too much.
Me neither.
It was probably on another channel at the time. Back in the 70s, there were only 12 channels, I think, we had here in Cambridge.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably not even that many.
And then when I moved to Newfoundland, I lived in Newfoundland for a while, and we only had 2 channels. We had the CBC, and we had a Newfoundland station. At the time, they were called NTV or something like that, or NBC. They called themselves NBC. And then when we started getting cable coming in, there was an NBC from Bangor, and they had to change the name to NTV.
Okay.
I guess they couldn't have the same name, I guess, with cable,
Right. Right.
But yeah, let's see. Dell's not asking any more questions here. Oh, he does.
Why don't you throw up my Shanu video?
Shanu? Yeah. I'd have to go into Indiegogo for that. Can you'd be able to share that here, would you? Because I can't get into my Indiegogo from Chrome. I can do it from Firefox.
How do I share it?
I don't know. I had Frega on here, and he was able to do it. I'm not sure.
Probably more technically savvy than I at this, because he's got his own show. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, well, he's had a couple of shows. He got one canceled, didn't he?
That's true. Yeah, they canceled it on him. Let's see.
Yeah, I think they said something that he got censored because somebody said he drew a nude or something on his channel.
Yeah, some kind of BS like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. If I share the screen, screen sharing works best on. Okay, don't show these tips again. Share screen, application window. Oh. You know what? I gotta hold on a second here.
Yeah.
Hit copy.
Where's Frega when we need him?
Paste and go. There we go. Okay, so if I share Chrome application window, okay, Chrome tab. There we go.
All right.
Is that up on your screen?
Yeah, let me add it to the stream. It's asking me to add it to the stream. There we go.
Perfect. All right. So can you play that video or do I got to play it?
You'll have to play it. I can't. It's coming to you.
Okay, everybody sit down and be amazed. Hold on.
Get your popcorn out, people.
Good evening. Tonight's big
There we go.
centers on the state of emergency declared this morning in Buffalo.
Between 4,000 and 5,000.
See if I can get this. I'll see if I can get this bigger.
Buffalo is still very much a city under
This is the biggest I can get it, Graham.
Here. How's that?
Oh, that's good.
There we go.
Hello tonight, 10 below zero. Get off the streets and highways as soon as possible.
That's pretty cool promo.
Yeah, yeah. I like that. Now you did this in black and white. What
Yes.
was the reason for it to do it in black and white?
Well, I think horror translates really well in black and white, just like the old black and white horror and monster movies I used to watch as a kid. So I wanted to do it and give it that kind of feel, but then also give it a graphic feel. So I added red to it so that whenever there's blood, there's going to be red on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll show you some of the. Here's the page. Here's the main cover. This is the variant cover. And then here's some interior pages from it. We open up on Lake Erie on the ice. A couple guys ice fishing. Guy's got to go out to take a leak.
Mm-hmm.
Bad things happen to him. His buddy comes to check him out. And worse things happen. So you can see, when there's red, obviously, it's much more impactful, I think.
Yeah.
So we cut to the shoreline. We got a plow working during the big storm. And he thinks he hit something. He goes out to check his blade, sees what he thinks is fur on it. And then, whoops.
Oh, there goes a head.
Yep. So there's a lot of, we hit all the stretch goals on this campaign. So what started out as 48 pages, people are getting 56 pages of story now. All the covers are going to be foil stamped.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody gets a sticker, a trading card, this bookmark. Well, there's the trading card. There's the sticker.
Nice.
You're getting extra pages, digital copy, and your name listed in it. So some really, really cool stretch goals that all got unlocked. And we just started shipping this week. In fact, I just posted a picture of the boxes of these cool Chinook snow globes. I thought that would be a really cool tie-in to have this two-sided snow globe,
Yeah.
So
I was actually looking at that, and I said that was kind of cool because I want to do that for my Indiegogo. Like my comic book takes place in Canada, so it's Ottawa, and it's snowing. That would be kind of cool. He's sitting on the roof, my character,
right?
And you got a snow globe like that,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You could buy me a beer. Somebody said I ought to stream myself claiming those beers, but that'd be 25 beers I'd have to drink in a stream.
Wow.
That would not be good.
No, by the end of that, you'd be just a mess,
Yeah, I don't know what I'd say.
Well, you'd be like Ethan, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Or like Cecil. Isn't Cecil the drinker of the group?
What's that?
Isn't Cecil the drinker of the group?
Yes. Yeah, he once fell off his chair.
He'd probably drink you under the table,
He could. I don't know. I got an Irish liver, so.
Yeah, I do too, but I don't drink, so.
Oh, you got the bad Irish liver.
Yeah. I'm going to close this window off here, Nolan.
Sure.
Graham. I got a couple questions here. Ron asks here, I noticed you as an inker. I don't think there was anyone working in your style. Who was your inking influences?
I think he's confusing me with Kevin Nolan.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because I never worked as an inker other than inking my own work.
Yeah, because you just do penciling, don't you?
Yeah, I did most of my early stuff as a penciler, but I never worked as an inker where I inked a lot of other people's work.
Yeah. Was there anybody in penciling that influenced your work, like in the comic book industry? That?
Oh, of course.
You probably got Joe Kubert's some of his style in yours, because I noticed some people from this Kubert school that seem to draw like him.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't draw like Joe, but I did absorb some of his storytelling styles and panel arrangements. I love his work. I didn't love it when I went to the school. When I first went to the school, it was something where I had to kind of learn about just how great he was, because I had, basically a fanboy's tastes and didn't realize just, how great he was. And that was true and that is true with a lot of people, like many people can't stand, don't like Jack Kirby stuff, which I find is, unbelievable. I can't believe that people don't like Kirby, but there are people that don't like him, but
yeah,
what are you going to do?
Yeah. No, Dale says here he's down to see you streaming with him with drinking 25 beers.
I'll bet he is.
And he says, what's the difference between an inker and a penciler? He says, I'm new to BAW.
The penciler is the guy who tells the story visually. He starts with a blank piece of paper. breaks the story down, breaks the panel arrangements down, and then draws everything. The inker basically prepares the artwork for print by going over it and not tracing. An inker's not a tracer. He has to bring something to it, because he's translating gray tones into hard black lines. So the inker, goes over the pencils and makes it a dark black so that you can print it. Although with today's printing technology, inking is sort of going away, because with digital brushes you can add colors and all kinds of stuff that you couldn't do before.
So you like digital a lot better than the traditional stuff?
Not better. It's just more efficient in some ways. It saves me the time of having to scan stuff. I can make changes so much easier. I can import reference very easily. I just did a big project with Stallone and Chuck, The Expendables Go to Hell. And there was so much reference in that thing. I had to draw this tiger tank, and I ended up finding a digital frame of a tiger tank, imported it right in, and moved it into the angles and stuff that I needed. And then I could I could just draw it. I just drop the opacity back, put a layer over it, and draw it,
Right.
from that. And it saved me hours and hours of work doing it that way. Downside, there's no original art,
Yeah. Because I know I was talking to Frega, and he was saying that he'll draw digitally and then he'll print it out and then ink it.
Right. I've done that too. My last project at DC, Bane Conquest, I was doing that, where I did the layouts digitally, then I would blow them up and convert them to blue line, print them out on my board, and then ink the board traditionally.
Right. Now I still do the traditional way. I'll get the what is it called, fanboy paper or something like that, and then I'll draw the book that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in pencil and then I'll go ink and stuff like that. I haven't been able to find ink that's black enough anymore.
Oh, I believe that. That's the other thing, is that the quality of the materials, the Bristol board, the Bristol board is horrible. It's tough finding really good Bristol anymore that holds the ink, especially if you're using like a pen nib, so that it doesn't bleed on you. Ink is not very black; it grays out on you. It's pen nibs. You go through them like a chain smoker. They don't hold their point.
Yeah.
And yet all that stuff is still very expensive. Digitally, I got my iPad and my Apple Pencil, and if I need to erase something, bam, I erase it just by clicking a button, and boom, boom, boom. The other cool thing is the digital brushes, like for the snow in the Canoe. I've got a digital brush of snow, and I can adjust its size, and then I can actually put a motion blur on it too, so that the snow now looks like it's really blowing hard and fast. Then I'll put another layer of snow over that might not have that blur, so I can get depth and dimension in it, which you couldn't do traditionally. You would basically use whiteout and a toothbrush, mask out stuff, and then spray it. This is the old technique to do that.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I learned that from Dave Sim. Dave Sim only lives. I lived in Kitchener too, so I used to see Dave all the time. And I learned that from Dave, doing the snow. And then I used to do black splatter in my book by using that. Just getting popsicle stick and toothbrush, and either dip it in ink or dip it in whiteout. I have a bottle of whiteout that I use. I just water it down a bit, dip it in, and just let it go. Yeah. But that's fun.
Well, it's messy and it's time consuming too.
Yeah.
There's things you got to mask off. You got to get either a liquid mask or you got to cut a mask.
Yeah.
so that things don't, get covered up or sprayed.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I used to get newspapers and then kind of cut it around the figures a bit and then get some tape to put it down to keep it there so it wouldn't go over on the drawing itself.
right.
And
Yeah,
that was
what
a
I
lot
can do digitally is I can just select the area that I want the snow to be in, and then it puts a mask on it, and then I just grab my brushes and boop, 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 done.
Well, I gotta start doing that because I just bought a few months ago. I bought a Huron tablet.
Mhm.
My regular monitor died on me, so I'm using the tablet now as a monitor.
Okay.
So I've got it's pen sensitive, so you can just draw right on the screen.
Okay.
And then I did buy one of these. Um, just recently, I had a what is it called? This is the other one I had. I had this one for it's a Wacom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had that for like forever.
Yeah, I can tell with the cord.
Yeah, so it kept dying on me. So I went out and bought I bought that one,
Yeah.
and then I bought the
Is that the Chrome one or the Google one? What is that one?
which one? This is a Huron.
That's the Huron?
Yeah,
I've never heard of that.
yeah, it's Huion. Huon. It's a Chinese made or a China made or something like that company.
Okay.
Got it through Amazon. The monitor cost me like $500-600.
Okay.
That was a lot cheaper. I think that was like $100 and some for the. Comes with a pen. Ones you got to charge. The one for this tablet I'm using here for monitor, you got to charge up the pen.
Hmm.
The other one doesn't need to be charged up the pen. It just take the power from the tablet.
Right. Right. That's how the iPad Pro works. You just it's magnetic. You just put it against the iPad and it charges the pencil.
Yeah, and then when you come close to it, it'll work together.
Mm-hmm.
So we got another question here from Dale. He says, "What's your favorite Batman storyline?"
There's a lot of them. One of my favorite early Batman stories was from Batman #5, where Batman is part of a group of the world's greatest detectives that are gathered together by this guy named Dana Dry, who is called the Dean of Detectives. And so you've got all these great detectives around the world in this hotel room to hear the legend speak, and he gets murdered in front of them. And all the detectives have to discover and figure out who killed Dana Dry. And Batman discovers what happened. And in so discovering, he also finds out that Dana Dry knew he was Bruce Wayne. I love that story.
Nice.
There's another one that Bill Finger wrote, Outlaw Town, USA, where Batman, where all these criminals that are wanted go to this town in Nevada that because of some archaic law, the U.S. government has no jurisdiction there. So they can't go in there and arrest them. So Batman's got to go into this town, this old western town where all these criminals are hanging out and get these guys out. I thought that was a really cool story too.
Nice.
Yeah. And then the other one, a more modern one that Denny O'Neil wrote, which I love too, is The Demon of Gothos Mansion, which was during that Gothic period of Batman stories in the early 70s, where and it involves Alfred's daughter, and she gets captured and taken by this coven to this place, and Batman's got to rescue her. And there's this great trap that Denny wrote where this guy captures Batman, ties his hands behind his back, and puts a noose around his neck, and then puts him on this stone that's sinking. So he's going to slowly hang. And so Batman has to like tense up his neck muscles and he starts swinging back and forth, and there's a torch on the opposite wall, and he swings, he grabs the torch with his feet and lifts him up and burns the rope off and lands on his feet. I thought that was really cool too.
What was that? What issue was that for that Batman?
That one was around 220, 221, or something like that. It's called The Demon of Gothos Mansion.
Okay. See if I can look it
Got a
up.
classic Neil Adams cover.
Oh, so it would have been in the 70s then, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 1971 or 72.
Yeah. Yeah, back in the 70s, I don't think I was I don't think I was reading too many DC books. I started really getting into the Marvels back in the late 70s when they start putting on the TV shows.
Okay.
You know, Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk and stuff like that, you know. But I wasn't a big reader of Batman for a while until The Dark Knight came out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Frank Miller kind of, when he went from Daredevil to Dark Knight, you know. And that's where I started. And then I started getting more DC stuff, you know. Now, one thing I was remembering, you did The Power of the Atom, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. That was a miniseries, wasn't it? In the
No,
80s?
it was a regular series.
It was a regular series?
Yep.
Okay. You got another one coming up?
Yeah, here it is.
Let me add it to the stream. Oh, that's the cover. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
227, Detective 227.
227.
Yeah.
227. I'll go and look for that. I've seen that somewhere before.
Oh, it's a famous cover, and it's actually a redo of. Can you put that back up?
Yep, I can. Sure.
Yeah. Of this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Detective 31.
That was a Bob Kane
Yeah.
cover. Okay.
So.
Interesting.
Hey, we figured out how to share screens. Look at
Yes.
that.
We didn't need Frega.
You don't need Fragga. Fragga boom this.
I like Frega.
Okay.
I watch his videos. I think I watched one this morning. He was rapping in his car.
Oh, he likes to do that, yeah.
Yeah. And then he was doing some drawings in between. So he did a little rapping, then he did a little drawing, and then he did a little bit more rapping, you know? So, yeah.
I'd have to drink my 23 beers if you wanted to get me to rap.
Yeah. Probably wouldn't be too good either.
It would not be. I can guarantee you that.
So the Atom story that you did, how long did you do that for?
A year. I did 12 issues.
Okay.
It got canceled with issue 18.
Okay.
It started with I started with issue 7, so I did 7 through 18. So yeah, that was 12 issues.
Okay. Because I do remember the miniseries. There was a miniseries. Wasn't that done by Kane before? And then you...
Sword of the Atom.
Oh, Sword of the Atom. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm getting them confused there.
Yeah, well, that series, Power of the Atom, kind of took place after Sword of the Atom.
All right. And who was that you were working with on that?
Roger Stern.
Oh, yeah. He actually wrote me a letter years ago.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I sent him a birthday card or something.
Oh, nice.
This is back in the 70s. I don't know. Was it the 70s or 80s or something? Yeah, so he sent me a letter, you know?
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think I still have it somewhere. Like, wow, my first, the first writer ever wrote back to me or something, you know?
Great.
Yeah, so yeah, I had a letter. I have a letter from Jim. I got a letter from. Was it Jim Shooter or something? And then I got. I wrote to the CBS for the Shazam TV series, and I got a letter from somebody from CBS thanking for me watching their show and stuff like that. You know, I think it was asking about the Winnebago or something. You know. what kind of make it was or something, you know.
It's like that.
Yeah. I remember looking back at those shows and I'm going, why did I ever like these shows? You know?
Some of those shows you watch as a kid, you rewatch like on YouTube, and you're like, oh my god, these were written for idiots.
You know, Spider-Man. Oh, I was like going, that. The more I watched it, the more I could see it was stupid.
The which one? The 60s Spider-Man?
Nicholas Hammond.
Oh, the TV. Oh, yeah.
The live action TV show, you know?
Yeah, that was awful.
I like the costume. The costume kind of, it's still kind of, I still like the look of the costume, the rounder eyes.
Mm-hmm.
But the story was like, my God, there was a mind controlling guy that was running it.
Mm-hmm.
There was no Uncle Ben.
Right.
Aunt May, there wasn't very much for Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
And they left a lot of the stuff out from the comic book.
Jameson didn't look anything like him, you know.
No, and that was a guy from Bewitch.
Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then they changed him when they did the series because it was a different J. Jonah Jameson.
Okay.
I forget who.
His web shooters were on the outside.
Yeah.
Those little, and the belt was on the outside, and then he had the little booties too.
Yeah, and he had the little symbol, the Spider-Man face as the belt buckle.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, and the spider sense was kind of neat. I like the way they did that.
I don't remember. Was it like
I think they showed his
glass type of thing? Or?
Well, it was flashing lights like.
Oh, okay.
And they would show a scene or something, like one of the bad guys coming up behind him or something, and then they would have the scene just flashing with red light or something.
Okay.
I think he started with his eye or something, and then you seen a little bit flash in his eye, and then they show a quick scene of a couple of the bad guys coming towards them. I thought I still think that was neat.
Spider sense in any of the new Marvel movies? Did they show his spider sense in any of the new Marvel movies?
I don't think so.
I can't remember it now that you mentioned it.
Well, I think with the one with Infinity War, when Peter was on the bus, his hair arm.
Oh, yeah. That's his spider sense. His hair goes.
Yeah, I'm like going, he couldn't do some, you know, like they did with the TV
electrical storm too.
Yeah,
like everybody else's.
Yeah. What did you think of those movies, the Spider-Man movies? Which was your favorite?
I think Spider-Man 2, the one with Dr. Octopus, was the best. I thought that was good.
Yeah, so the storyline was good.
Which one?
The storyline was good in 2.
Yeah, Doc Ock was good. I think that was very close to as close as you're going to get to doing a Spider-Man movie. You know, the problem with Spider-Man translating into movies, I think, and one of the things that I always loved about the Spider-Man comic as a kid was his inner monologue. And Spider-Man they don't use or thought balloons in comics anymore. And so, you know, when we used to be able to get into a character's head like Spider-Man, which was really important because of his, you know, he was neurotic and he was always thinking about other shit when he was fighting, you know, the Sandman or whatever, worried about Aunt May and stuff like that. And you can't get that across in a movie. But in a comic, you know, it's part of the medium. You know, you could do thought balloons and get into that inner monologue of the character. And I think that was so important to making Spider-Man so popular in its day that and it's an aspect that's missed.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the soap opera aspect of Spider-Man that was important because that's what they didn't do in the TV show. You know, give him all of that problems, Aunt May having a heart attack every issue, you know, or something like that, you know. And Uncle Ben was the important thing that needed to be in the storyline, you know. Now with the new Spider-Man, they're not going to introduce Uncle Ben.
Well, I think it got to the point where everybody knows, you know, and we're not going to see Spidey's origin again because we've seen it. Yeah. You know, it's sort of like Tarzan. We don't really need, everybody knows. We don't need another Superman movie where Krypton explodes either.
Yeah.
We know. Now you can get down to the meat and potatoes and just tell the story.
Yeah. I think it'd do a small recap too,
Sure. Yeah, exactly. You don't got to get just a little recap, refresh the memories of people that aren't really connected to it and move on.
Yeah, yeah. And did you ever draw Spider-Man?
Yeah. Yeah, I did Spider-Man. I did a few issues of Peter Parker. I did a story in Amazing Spider-Man. And then I did Spider-Man in the Spider-Girl series because I did a run on that for a little bit too.
Okay. Yeah, because you
I
didn't.
also did the Batman Spider-Man team up, the Marvel DC Batman Spider-Man team up.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah,
That
I
one
forgot.
that was printed at trade like a square bound one, right?
Yeah, prestige format.
Yeah. Yeah.
That. Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool because I was at San Diego one year and I was at the DC booth and I was signing stuff for them. And Chuck Dixon came up to me and said, "Hey, man, John Romita just sat down at his table." And I'm like, "Oh, cool." And I always wanted to meet him because he was like the first artist whose work I ever recognized. Like I could say that's Romita's work.
Yeah.
And plus I was reading Spider-Man and then I loved it and everything. So anyway, I just excused myself from everybody. I said, I'll be back in a few minutes. Just hang loose. So I went over to Romita's table. Eventually got to shake hands with him and meet him. Introduced myself, and he knew who I was. He said, I said, "My name's Graham Nolan," and I didn't have to go any further. He goes, "Are you the artist?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, I really liked your Batman Spider-Man book." I was like, "Oh, excellent," because I specifically tried to, I drew all the Batman characters and Batman family characters as I always do. But the Spider-Man family characters I tried to do in a Romita style, particularly the Kingpin.
Mm-hmm.
And who John Romita created, his visual look. And so he, to hear him say that was really cool.
Nice, nice. Who was the inker on that book?
That was Carl Kiesel.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he did some John Byrne stuff too, didn't he? He inked some John Byrne stuff.
Yes, in the early Superman run when they first started, I think.
Yeah, with the Action Comics or something.
No, before right after Man of Steel. I think Carl was after Giordano inked that stuff, and then I think Carl was inking a bunch of those early Supermans.
Yeah, I just bought a John Byrne Superman hardcover.
Oh,
so it reprints Man of Steel, Superman #1, and then there's some action stuff in there.
Yeah,
and
action too. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
somebody else doing action.
I know Terry Austin inked that first issue of Superman.
Did he?
Yeah, I love Terry's art, his inking on John's stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a really crispy line, a lot of hatching and stuff like that in his work.
Yeah, I like Terry's stuff. He inked the Detective Comics cover that I did.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And but you only stayed exclusively with DC, right?
Well, I was under contract with DC for a long time, but I not exclusive. Eventually, once I ran out on the exclusivity aspect of the contract, I went over to Marvel and did a bunch of stuff there. That's where I did, Spider-Girl and Peter Parker. I did a bunch of Marvel Adventures. Iron Man, Fantastic Four for them.
Mm-hmm.
I did some special projects for them. I did one with the Avengers and the U.S. military. What else did I do for Marvel? One of my first jobs was at Marvel was a Transformer comic I did back in the early '80s. Yeah, but by and large, the bulk of my work was done at DC.
Okay. You didn't get the chance to do any Hulk stories for Marvel?
No, I did some Hulk stories too because I love the Hulk.
Yeah.
I really wanted to do one. I had this one where I wanted to do it was called The Bunker, and it was in the early stages of the Hulk, back when Kirby was drawing it. You know, he did 6 issues before it got canceled. There was a bunker that Rick would take Bruce Banner to, or the Hulk, and lock him in until, you know, sundown or wherever, you know. And I thought that would be a really cool horror tale, to have the power go out in that bunker, and Rick there hearing the pounding on the wall of the Hulk in there, and then it busts out. You know, and now it's completely dark in there, and the Hulk is roaming the halls, and Rick is there, and, you know, I think that would be really cool. I couldn't get him to bite on it.
That would have sound cool, yeah. You could have done it for the Marvel, the Hulk magazine. That would have worked for that when they were doing that back then.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they were doing some. I know Jim Shooter did a story that got him in a little bit of trouble. Do you remember the one? You ever read any of them with the Hulk magazines?
Mm-hmm.
And there was one, he went to the YMCA Banner and he got raped.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah, Jim told me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading that and I was like, I was a bit younger and I was like going, don't really understand that one, you know?
I think Jim said that he didn't get raped, but there was an attempt to rape him.
Yeah.
You know, and of course he hulked out and prevented
that happening.
Yeah. Said act. Yeah. That's funny.
So I think I'm gonna end it. We've been here for almost an hour.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Great.
Yeah, I don't see any more questions here. We got 4 people watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to put it out here if somebody wants to put a comment before we end this.
Okay.
And
does this get posted like on your YouTube page or something?
Yeah,
like that?
it does.
The link to my Shinu in there.
Yeah, you want to throw your link in there into the comment?
You gotta throw it in when you put it up. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know how you do that.
Yeah, I'll do that when we go off.
Okay.
Like I said, in Chrome, I can't get into my Indiegogo to put that link in. Oh, we got some from Ron here. Interesting talk, guys. Only 4, but 4 were all served.
We're well served.
Yeah, Ron is a comic book artist in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
He's done several books. Ron, if you're listening, plug yourself here. Tell Graham what you've done. Really, my memory's not too good lately, so I just don't remember titles and stuff, you know. Mm-hmm. But Ron's got a book about the comic book industry. And,
oh, okay.
Yeah. Just trying to think of the name. It was the I think it's a made up story, isn't it, Ron? Should actually bring him in. I've had him on my channel. But yeah, he's done an inking work and stuff like that. That's probably why he was asking you about inking earlier.
Okay.
So yeah, because he said here, I first noticed you as an inker, but I don't think you was anywhere working on your style.
Well, there is an answer to that. I mean, because I do ink, I just don't work as an inker, inking other people's stuff. But the answer to the people who influenced me in my style of inking are Dick Giordano, Klaus Janson, Tom Palmer. I really like those kind of bouncy lines that those guys had, you know, the thick and thin, you know, and also the different line weights. Guys like Klaus is amazing. Like if the thinnest line you have is a 1, Klaus will go from a 1 to an 11. You know, like he'll put this, you know, just really bold, you know, ink line in, you know, just in your face. I love that.
Yeah. Ron says it's about a fictional convention in New York City in 1970. I was nominated as best cartoonist in Canada for it. And he said my second book was called Geeks of the Gods. It's in comic book stores now.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah. So he was more of a letterer because I met him years ago in Toronto. He used to have the what do you call that? He used to have he had this barbecue at his house, and he had all people from the comic book industry that was in the Toronto area come to his house for his barbecue. It was legendary, just seeing Ty Templeton and quite a few other artists.
I used to do conventions in Toronto with him.
Yeah. So, oh yeah, and Ron here says, I love those inkers too. Good is good.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Those guys are some of the best.
So who would you like to have ink on your stuff?
Nobody.
Nobody?
Yeah.
No.
I like the purity of the pure cartoonist, the guy who writes and draws his own work. There's nothing more pure than that. You can't get it in just about any other art form,
Because they'll change it up a bit on you once they do a little bit of inking, right?
Of course, there's an interpretation. Things are left up for interpretation, and I've had enough guys ink my work where I've been disappointed, and then I've had guys like those that I've mentioned who've inked my work where they've changed stuff, but they're so good. I learned so much when I study those pages that when they came back to me. A lot of the changes that they made were good. They made it better. They brought something to the table.
Yeah.
But I mean, Joe Kubert told me, when I was a student there, to make sure you ink your own work, control the artwork. I mean, I've seen other people ink Kubert, but, and guys like Russ Heath have inked him, and it looks amazing, but it doesn't look like Kubert.
Yeah.
There's Russ Heath there too. And that's a great thing, and it's nice, but I like the purity of the artist that does it all and writes his own material as well.
Right. Now, Ron says here he's on page 152 of another book. Now it's likely to be called Cult, following it's about Toronto Cult Row in 1970.
He's stuck in 1970.
Yeah.
He did the convention in 1972.
Yeah, the convention was in New York in 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least it's not in New York. So now it's in Canada. So
he's creating his own 1970 universe. He can tie all his projects together in that one year.
Yeah.
That could be kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. I've got his Geeks of the Gods. It's a pretty good book. I read through it. The art is really nice. He's done the penciling and inking himself, and he's a letterer, so
good talent to have.
Yeah. I have a hard time lettering. I love the computer stuff because when I scan in the original artwork, then I'll just I bought some fonts off Kablam, I think it is.
Mm-hmm. Blambot.
Yeah, Blambot. Yeah, and I bought fonts from them. And that's what I'm using to lettering my book.
Yeah.
It's much easier because you make a mistake. Oh shit! I got to get the white out, and
See, digital.
Yeah, but I still like drawing on the board there. You can see my drafting table right behind me. I bought that in 1987. That drafting table.
Uh-huh.
That's moved to 3 locations. I can't adjust it anymore. The rubber washers on it are falling apart. I don't know where to get them anymore.
Right.
What I like to get is one of the glass ones.
Oh, okay.
And then I can put a light table underneath. Put lights underneath and then use it as a light table.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll learn to use this tablet here.
Yeah. Well, got to move to the future.
So if you do digital, what do you set up for paper size? Do you put it 11 by 17?
Mm-hmm.
You do? Okay.
Yep. I scanned in a piece of DC board and lined it out, put digital lines around it and everything, and then I just import that template in do my layouts on it, and just do layers, build it up.
Okay. Because I always imagined that most artists would just draw on a certain size and then copy and paste it into a 11 by 17 or something.
No,
No?
I do it just like I would if I was drawing it on the board. It's just drawing it on a digital board. Now I can change things, obviously. I can move things around. I can, if I have a small figure, I can draw that figure big, so that when I shrink it down, all the details are in there, and then drop that in the background, so that that little figure now looks really sharp and cool instead of, sort of blocky. The other thing is, I notice that like my eyes, if I'm inking traditionally, and I'm inking small figures,
Mm-hmm.
to get close enough to get little details on there, I get into that zone, where
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, it's too blurry. And to get out here, I'm not close enough to, but digitally, I just blow it up to the size I need. And,
Well, just the last couple of years, I've been wearing these.
yeah, I've got bifocals. So,
Oh boy.
yeah.
About 3 or 4 years ago, I started noticing when I was going into stores where the light was low, things I couldn't read. Like I go into a comic book store and I couldn't read the words balloons. I had to stretch my arms out and go, okay, now I can see it a bit.
Right.
And then they went in and said, my vision is good for long distances, but anything close. And I said, why couldn't my long vision go?
Right.
Because I need that for drawing. And they said it. One of them said it was working in a darkened room, and another one said I'm starting to develop cataracts.
Oh,
yeah. So it's either get a lens replacement,
right.
They said it's just developing, so maybe it's not so bad, Maybe the muscles are weakening and stuff like that. But when I'm doing my drawings with the drawing table, I got to use the glasses.
Welcome to the club.
Well, we're both the same age, so Ron writes here. He says, "I'm stuck in the '70s, but don't worry, things worked out just fine."
Excellent. Good to hear.
Yeah. So yeah. So anyway, I'll let you go there, Graham.
Okay, William. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, I'm glad you decided to come in. I haven't had a guest for a while, so it's always fun to talk to other creators. To pick their brain, to find out, their methods of, drawing and stuff like that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting your book.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Supporting it.
Yeah. So when is that? When is that?
Go ahead.
Sorry.
With the Shinu.
Yeah. When is it coming out? When is you going to be shipping it?
The estimated date, which Indiegogo has you put in there, is the end of October.
Right.
But we did all the stretch goals, which added more pages to it. So it probably won't. I mean, I may get done with the artwork by October, but it won't be printed by then. I'm pretty sure of that at this point.
Yeah.
But so I'm hoping that by December it'll be in people's hands, just in time for the snow to fall.
Yeah.
They can really get it as a good read.
Yeah.
But as you know, as a backer, I update backers every Monday. So you guys know where I am as far as how many pages have been done, what's coming up. But you probably got one today telling you that the snow globes have shipped or have started shipping today. I posted a picture of that. So, I want all the backers just to be kept aware of where we are in the timeline and give them updates. I think that's really important. I've backed projects that I've forgotten about because I never got an update on in a year gone by or something. And I'm like, hey, that's right. I backed this thing,
Yeah.
So I wanted to avoid that with mine and make sure that, everybody knows where we're at. I think I lost you.
Sorry about that, Graham.
Ah,
I went to hit. I've got a button here on my keyboard that'll open up my Firefox, and when I hit it, it did something to Chrome and took me out of this stream.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh shit, what did I do? I was hoping Firefox would come up because I was going to put a link in for you. Let me click on this. I'm clicking on my icon for Firefox for another way. Just give me a moment. I'm going to put your link up for your Indiegogo.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Great. I mean, I think you can put that up when you post it to your page too. So
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to put it in right now.
Yeah, I can do it right now before we end this. I just got to go into my contributions. All right, there we go. So I backed yours on August 24th.
Okay.
So I got the signed book and sticker.
Cool.
Yeah.
But you're also going to get the bookmark and the trading card as well, and the digital copy, and the foil stamped cover.
All right, nice. See, I got mine coming too, so I'm gonna release it on my birthday. So I'm just doing a mail thing. I was watching one of the streams with Charlie's London, and she was talking to, trying to think of his name, because I don't see him very often, so I don't know. Adam.
Oh, Adam Friended?
Is it
or Adam Adam Post?
Yeah, and he was mentioning to her about doing a newsletter kind of thing, or a mailing list, and before she released her book,
yes,
she's doing that book on Charlie Chaplin.
Yes,
and so she mentioned to do the mailing list.
Yeah,
before launching.
I did that with the Chinook too.
Yeah, did that?
Her, I mean, I did it like a couple weeks before, but it's a great thing to do is to build that list, and then also once you've had a successful campaign, you've got a huge list right there from your backers, which is great.
Yeah,
so you keep building that.
So I got it going. Like I just started, I think a few weeks ago. So I figured I was going to let it go for 2 months, but I can't wait. I'd like to just get it going. I'm hoping that I'll make the goal,
Mm-hmm. What's your goal? What's your goal?
6,000.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know how much to put in,
Are you doing it on Indiegogo?
Yep.
Okay.
I did a couple on Kickstarter about 3 or 4 years ago. I was doing a superhero. If you see the poster behind me,
yeah,
with a red guy with the light, I colored that.
Okay.
And I have a guy. There was a guy in Toronto, Melvin Law, who drew that. And we were going to do the Kickstarter about 3 or 4 years ago. Did a Kickstarter. It didn't succeed. I went back, redid it again. We did it about 3 times. Never reached the goal. So he got fed up because we weren't making the goal, because I was hoping to make the money to pay him. I paid enough to do about 4 pages and 2 covers. And just because the campaign didn't make its goal, he just walked away. Now I have a new artist working on it.
What was the goal then?
The goal was, just give me a moment here. I'll let you know. I can't remember what I posted. I think it was about 10,000 I was asking for.
Here's a suggestion to you. Is this one going to be on your new one? Going to be on Indiegogo?
Yeah, this one's going to be on Indiegogo.
Okay. The way it works and the way to really monetize your campaigns on Indiegogo is to activate their algorithms. So what happens is if you set a high goal, okay, and it takes you a while to get to it, and let's say you do get to it, okay, once you've hit that goal, that's when the algorithms really kick in. that's when you start seeing your project listed on as the first ones under comics. And
Right.
also Indiegogo, when somebody orders a comic of somebody else, yours will be in that email or in that other one. So you're getting so many people outside your own network. Sometimes those are just people that like to back the arts. They're not necessarily comic fans, but that's what you want. You want those numbers to go out and to get outside your own limited numbers, because even your limited numbers, even if you had, a couple thousand, of that couple thousand, statistically, you might get 10%. So what I've been told, like by Ethan, like I set my goal for the Canoe at 15,000, because that's what I needed just to break even on it. Okay.
Yeah.
But had I set it lower than that and hit it sooner, I'd have taken more advantage of those Indiegogo algorithms and probably could have pushed it faster, to get to the number I actually really needed.
Right.
So what I'm seeing is these successful guys set it low so that they hit that number quickly, and so that they take advantage of the promotion that comes with that through Indiegogo.
Okay.
So it's something to think about. If you can get by with it, let's say it doesn't fund,
Yeah. Yeah.
but if you can get by and do that, it could be more successful for you.
Okay. I'll do that. So just have to go in for the rhythms, or what was it? The algorithm. Sorry, algorithms. Okay.
Algorithms, yeah.
So that's to the that would be going through my pre-launch page to do that.
When you set it up, yeah. When you set up your campaign, you'll have to list what your goal is.
Okay. All right.
And if you set that lower, it's like I think, I'm trying to remember now, Malin launched his really big campaign, and I think he set his starting thing at like $5,000, something like that.
Yeah.
And he hit that really quickly. And once he hit that, within a day, I think he made $50,000. It just went, because that number got hit and it just took off.
Okay.
Now he's had successful campaigns in the past too, so he's, he has dedicated backers. But from what I see, when you're up there on that front page there of popular books, I forget how they phrase it on Indiegogo, but that's when you start to reach people you can't reach normally. And that's the goal, is get all these other comic fans that don't know about you, that aren't fans of yours, or that aren't friends of yours on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, getting redirected over to your thing, like, because they bought the Canoe, and then at the bottom of the thing it says you might be interested in this too, and it's those books that get put on that. It's basically like an impulse buy, like they have at grocery stores. Gum, candy, little things like that. That, oh, you're checking out, but you might need this. So something to think about.
All right. Yeah. I'll think about that and take a look at it, and because I still have time to play with it and go through the perks and stuff like that. So I've got different perks of. I'm just offering books because Frege said just to concentrate on books alone.
Yeah, I agree. If you start adding too many things, it just gets confusing.
Yeah.
You want to sell the book, sell the product. I put in probably too many things, and I adjusted the campaign as I went along when I could see what was working, what wasn't working, and I would take things off. But by and large, what I've discovered is that 80 to 90% of all perks claimed are the book. without the extra stuff.
Right. Okay.
So take that for what it's worth.
So I'm just adding in like different covers. That's all I'm adding in.
Yeah.
I've got
good. Autograph levels is good.
Yeah, I got Claudio covers. He actually painted 2 covers for me. So I'm going to use 2 of those, and then I'm using my own cover, which is in the background of this window here. That's my cover. It's a wraparound cover. And then I'm offering a black and white version of this, and then I'm going to sell the original artwork to this.
Great.
It's one piece. This is one piece. It's not taped together 2 11 by 17s.
Right.
So there's no bump when you're drawing over the lines of the
so 17 by 22.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So Graham, I'm going to end this.
Yes, yep, I got to go get dinner.
Yeah, well, we drank a lot of water. I think we both have to kind of.
Well, there's that too.
That wasn't beer in there, was it?
No, I still got my 25.
Okay. All right.
I'll get started on that too.
All right. Well, thank you for coming in, Graham, again.
You're welcome.
And I've got your link here already in the comments. So if anybody wants to come over and see Graham's Chenoo, and you're going to have that going for in demand for quite a while, right?
Yeah, I'm going to overprint, so they'll still be available even after it closes, and so.
All right, and Ron says bye, guys, and thanks.
So long.
Yeah, thank you, Ron, for coming in.
Yeah,
I really appreciate it. Yeah, and Dell too. Dell was the one with all the questions. You know?
Yeah.
All right, so everybody take care, and we'll see everybody tomorrow.
Okay, have a great one, gang. Bye-bye.